Hello everybody, welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, so this is the third video in our series of what's going on in the housing market. I'm going to put links to the other two videos right here. So if you want to watch the other videos, click up here. You can watch them both. They are about new homes and what's going on in that special market, the resale market. This is more of a macro video about government policy and tax policy and things and why those things specifically are causing this to happen. If you are a real estate agent watching this video, make sure you go to tryreferralcloud.com, create a free account, get more referrals in your marketplace. Okay, so let's start with government policy. We were chugging along for about a decade. Everything was looking good. The real estate market was sort of going up nice and easy. Stock market was going up. COVID happens. Causes governments to maybe spend some money they didn't want to spend. It created some imbalances in the labor market. And so start off with what's the first thing, like what's something happening in government policy that's causing this frantic thing of people wanting to go move into real estate assets?
Okay, so let's start with the government helping us again. So COVID hit and everybody stayed home, right? So when people stay home, what does government do? The government pays people to stay home. Now that causes problems in the labor market. So one of the things that's happening is, of course, we have a shortage of trades working on new construction. So builders are having a hard time getting trades to work on their homes because people are getting paid to stay home. So that's government helping you, number one. People are staying home and not working to build your house.
Okay, what's another reason?
Okay, another reason. The government has decided that they're pumping all this money into the economy by, again, paying people to stay home, and that's causing inflation. Now, when you have inflation, then people look at that and say, well, I can borrow money today and then pay it back later with devalued money. So It makes sense for me to go and take on a big debt like a house.
For 2.5% interest.
For 2.5%. And then go ahead and pay it back with devalued money later. So along those lines is also interest rates, because we've seen interest rates start to go up. So people are realizing that these interest rates at 2.5% or whatever low interest rate you're paying or you're being offered right now, you realize that that's not long for this world, that you may never see that again in your lifetime. So you're going to jump in and say, I'm going to buy a house or two at this interest rate because I'm never going to see this again. The other thing that government's doing is they are taxing, right? So we have...
They're at least either actively taxing or proposing special taxes.
Right. So we have places like in California, for example, which is my favorite state to pick on.
They're easy to pick on.
They're easy to pick on, right? So we have states like California that have come up with all sorts of glorious new taxes, from city taxes on wealth or whatever to local taxes to state taxes. So people are looking at their taxation level and saying, hey, I'm being taxed, so much, so I may as well take my money and put it into something that can grow tax-free. Yeah. Because if you buy real estate, then of course your money is going to grow tax-free. If you want to go ahead and sell that property, you can do a 1031 exchange and defer taxes and so on, and that's a whole different video that we can do some other time.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's going on is people are sucking money out of the stock market, either because they believe that it's inflated or because they're concerned about capital gains tax, whatever that is. Either way, government plays a role in that too, particularly with capital gains tax. So people are taking the money out of that and they're putting it into a real asset, which is real estate.
Yep.
And then
it's a great inflation hedge.
Absolutely.
Real estate, the best probably.
Absolutely. So, and then we have people like some of my favorite clients from California, which I love very much. And so they're coming to Nevada, and they're coming to Nevada to buy investment properties, to buy second homes. They've learned that maybe they don't have to work in California anymore. So I do have clients like that who have been working remotely since COVID. And their employers have said, hey, you know what, maybe you can work remotely indefinitely. So they're leaving California and they're moving to Nevada. So now they no longer have such a high state income tax, because Nevada doesn't have a state income tax. and so they're able to relocate here, and maybe they're buying 1 or 2 homes, one to live in and one as an investment. So that's again driving that.
Yep.
So the Las Vegas real estate market might be unique compared to other parts of the country because we're next to California, so we're sucking Californians here. We're unique because Las Vegas, let's face it, has been in a perpetual boom for about 100 years. So we are a little bit unique, but it is still kind of telling as far as what government policy has done. The other thing the government has done, of course, is different trade policies that have also influenced materials as far as what's available for builders to use to build your home. So again, that's the government being involved again. So lots of different ways that the government has been involved in driving the real estate market in Las Vegas and making it absolutely do this. I mean, it's just been on an upward trajectory for really the last year or so. 18 months ago, our market was very steady. It was increasing, but it was increasing at a sustainable level. Since COVID hit and since all these government policies have gone into place, the level, like I said, of increased property values has been more like this, which obviously over the long term is not sustainable, but we don't know when the music's going to stop and when this is going to taper. Now, whether or not this is a bubble, that's left to be seen because the government, again, is getting involved. There are lots of proposals at the federal level that are sustaining homeowners who have not been paying their mortgages, so remember that. So the idea that we're going to have foreclosures like we did before is probably not going to happen.
I'm going to talk about that.
Reasons. So one of the reasons that it's not going to happen is because, like I said, the government is sustaining property values by legislating that banks and servicers and so on need to take all that money that homeowners have not been paying because, of course, anybody who's been affected by COVID, which is everybody on the planet, now gets a break and can tack whatever money is owed with no penalty, no anything on the back of their mortgage.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. The other reason is, remember, this whole housing thing has not been going on for that long. So keep that in mind. Because it hasn't been going on for that long, prior to this happening, the people who were purchasing homes, they were purchasing homes cash, or they were purchasing homes with a lot of money down. So because they have equity, because they put a lot of money down, that's also sustaining property values because there's equity in those homes.
So here's the thing. You have a collapse, not from prices going up.
Right.
Prices going up do not cause a collapse. Look at what the stock market has done since it was inception. Prices have gone up. And people look like, well, it's got to come down because they're not worth that. No, that doesn't. The value is reflected in the price. Period. End of story. What caused the housing market to crash was over leverage. It was people leveraging like crazy, multiple purchases, sending signals that there was this artificial demand and overbuilding and things like that is what caused it to crash. And you had everybody who was so highly leveraged, and when the thing collapsed, you had all these people who were just like, I'm out of here, right? We don't have that anymore. If you're behind on your house, you know what you do? You put it on the market and sell it because you have a ton of equity. If you bought your house a year ago, you could totally make money in selling your house. So even if you didn't make a payment all year, find a real estate agent, say, hey, I owe 30 grand on my mortgage. Can I sell my house and walk away with cash? They'll probably tell you yes. This isn't like before where if you had 30,000, if you owe 30 grand, you were done. You were upside down. You just had to walk away and let it collapse. Okay. The other thing is that, remember, between us, we've sold about 3,000 REO homes, bank-owned foreclosures. We worked for the banks. When they foreclosed, they gave us the listings. We took them through all the stuff, and then we sold it in the end, right? What we're being told by people in our industry, the bank-owned home industry, is it's not going to happen. Like, they're not seeing any properties. States, local municipalities, federal government doing everything they can to stop this from happening. You have all the people who pay cash, who they're not going to ever sell the house. They're making a ton of money in rent. And they have no other investment they can go to because they can't go in the stock market now because they're being told capital gains tax would be 43%. They're like, why would I invest? Why would I take my safe asset real estate I'm collecting rent and go invest in the stock market? I either lose it or I make money, but if I make money, the government's going to take 43%. So we don't have the same underlying problem. So I've been saying this before. This isn't this is artificial a little bit. The price is going up, but it's not going to cause a crash. Meaning, if it could adjust back to existing prices right now, but there's no reason it would crash because we're not going to see 26,000 houses on the market. It's not going to happen. Remember, we had 26,000 houses on the market in Vegas, and the market was still going up. You have to ask yourself, why is the market going up with 26,000 houses? We have 2,600 houses on the market right now. That's the reason why prices are going up. It's because of a lack of inventory. It's a real price increase. Like, we're catching up for 10 years of having below market values in homes. All we're doing is catching up. And the average person can't see that. The average person just looks at the price and goes, I recognize that pattern. Price is going up, it's going to fall. But we were below equilibrium price for so long here in Las Vegas. The second thing, this is specifically about Las Vegas. People left California, they're gone. Go to downtown San Francisco, find any apartment complex. They have openings. You can get in for 25% less than you could have gotten in for 2 years ago. There are no more waiting lists there because all those people are coming out here and buying houses. They're working remotely. It's actually real demand. You know, the millions and millions of people in California, a lot of them are coming here. We don't have that many people in Nevada, so we don't have that many houses. We only have about 500,000 homes in southern Nevada, which is 2/3 of the state. So the whole state, we maybe have 700,000 houses, and millions of Californians are wanting to come here and have a piece of Vegas. So this is real. It's real demand. It's what the market's supposed to do. Prices are reflecting the increased demand. And why is it happening? Because of government politics and policy in California, combined with national policy. People can see this all started when the election happened. They said, we're going to raise taxes. We're going to raise taxes on corporations. We're going to raise taxes on capital gains, on your income's going up. It's all going to go up. So people are like, wait a minute. I'm in California paying 13% state. I can go to Nevada, pay 0%. So I'll just go there. I can work remote. I can move my company. Companies are moving to Miami, Florida, no state income tax. Companies are moving to Texas, no state income tax. You're moving to Tennessee, no state income tax. You're moving to Nevada, no state income tax. Where are they moving from? They're moving from California. So they have an outflow of people in California. These people are selling their real estate assets, and they're moving to markets where it makes sense. It's an adjustment in... The only way this is going to reverse is if California completely flips and changes tax policy and building rules in downtown, like San Francisco and the Bay Area, and places where it's crazy expensive. They change the tax policy for taxing people, and they make it more desirable to actually be there, because the people that are there, a lot of them are trapped. They have reasons they can't leave the state, and the people that can leave have chosen to leave. Well, that's it, and it's all government. The government has literally pushed it. It was the final step. It was a combination of government things that were triggered by COVID causing this to happen.
Right. So a couple other things to consider. Remember, the people who are leaving California, these are people who can work remotely. They tend to be higher income earners.
Oh yeah.
So they are toward that top of that bracket. So they were paying 13%, and they're coming to places like Nevada where they're not going to be paying that kind of money. These are people who look at Southern Nevada, look at Las Vegas, and say, I can get a 2,000 plus square foot house for $400,000, and it's new or nearly new, and it's fantastic. I couldn't get a toilet for that in California. So that's something to consider. The other thing to keep in mind is that when all these buyers are paying a high price, or what we consider here in Las Vegas a high price for the homes, and they're paying over appraised value, what they're paying is they're paying with cash. They're not paying with loans. So what I mean by that is, if the property only appraises for $350,000 and you've offered $400,000 and you've said that you're going to pay the difference between purchase price and appraised value, that means that you're coming with that $50,000 difference in cash.
Yeah.
So that purchase at $400,000 now establishes a new benchmark for property value for that, and you've got cash in the house. So that means that that purchaser is less likely to walk away from that house. It's not like it was back in 2005 when people were buying homes with 100% financing and then getting a home equity loan on top of that. So they had none of their own money in the house. These people have their own money in the house that they're going to want to protect. and these are people who are going to stay here, and these are people who are high income earners.
Yeah.
So this is a different dynamic than we had 15 years ago. So please keep that in mind. I mean, are we going to have a market correction? Who knows? But the same things are not in place this time that were in place 15 years ago. So it's not likely that the same thing will happen again.
Yeah, keep this in mind. The Las Vegas real estate market, pricing, the types of home built and everything were strictly built based on who is your customer. And the average worker in Las Vegas does not have a college degree, came to town because there were jobs. They work on the strip or in the hotel industry or the convention industry or something in that industry. They have, they have a secure job because they work in, they work in the casinos, or they work in food service, or they work in hotels. They have a job. They work on the strip. They make decent money, but not great money. Okay, because I get a lot of comments as, Todd, the people that work on the strip can't afford these. You're right. But guess what? Some software engineer or developer or digital marketer who's making 120 grand in LA or San Diego or San Francisco, who gets told by his company, hey, you can live wherever you want, we're not going to change your salary. They go, oh, I'll go to Vegas, what, 120, what can I buy with 120? Well, holy cow, you can buy 3 times the median here. And you look at the prices and go, really, I get a house for $300,000? That's crazy. There's nothing in the Bay Area for $300,000. You can't get anything. So they're bringing in money. We have money flowing in. We have high income earners who are coming here, and they're probably not going to leave. They're probably not going to leave because they remembered how bad it was in California, where they couldn't go to a restaurant, they couldn't eat anywhere, everything was locked down. They come here, they can work from their house, they can go to the strip, they can go to restaurants, they can have a life. They put more money in their pocket, they pay less taxes, they own a home, they're building equity, and if their company says, hey, we don't need you anymore, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go find another company they can work remote for. And what caused all this? Government, taxation policy, threats of capital gains increases, the city policy of San Francisco, where they're going to now tax every company in the city for all the money they make, no matter where they make it in the U.S. Those companies are going to start leaving San Francisco. They're going to go to other places, and that wealth is going to flow out of the Bay Area. We're the recipient of it here in Las Vegas. Government policy has caused actual disequilibrium, and they're coming here. That's why home prices are going up.
Right. And then, we've seen people in the really high income earner area that are leaving California, and maybe they're coming here and they're buying a home for 1.2, 1.5 million that they couldn't even touch for maybe 8, 9, 10 million.
Oh, yeah.
where they're coming from. So it's not just homes in that middle range. It's not just, if you will, working class homes. It is homes all the way up the food chain, all the way up to luxury homes. We're seeing more and more luxury homes being purchased by people from California. So it's interesting because all segments of the market are participating in this price increase. And this is different than other times that we've seen price increases where not every segment of the market has participated. The whole market is actually participating, and that actually gives us more solace that this is a more solid price increase and that it's more sustainable.
If I'm going to find the article, I'm going to put it down in the comments. It's a Wall Street Journal article an agent in the Bay Area sent us, and it was 3 people. It was somebody from San Francisco, somebody from LA, and somebody from San Diego. These are high net worth people who owned companies, and they just woke up one day and said, we can move our businesses out to Nevada. We can get, and they have pictures of the homes they bought.
Right.
They were like luxury homes. But remember, these people don't live in these massive, beautiful homes in those areas because they couldn't afford them there. But here they can come and buy, a 6-bedroom, 4,000 square foot with 2 pools on half an acre in a guard-gated country club neighborhood with a view of the city for $1.7 million, when that buys you a shack in downtown San Francisco. And these people have decided to leave. And here's the thing: they're not going back. Why would you leave and go back to that? I'm going to find the article and put it in the thing so you can read the Wall Street Journal article.
Right. So people moving here are getting a better quality of life, and that's what they're coming here for. They're coming for a better life. They're going to be able to keep the income level that they had in California, and they're going to have a better quality of life here. The government's helping us.
Look, there's no question California has many positive advantages.
Yes.
It's a beautiful state, but it's just gotten out of control. And remember, you don't have to push everybody out. A lot of people will say, oh, well, California's this, California that. That's fine. What about all the people that are leaving then? Like, if it's so great, why is everybody leaving? I got a push notification either yesterday or today. Apple News. Why are all the Californians leaving? Literally, we did a video on that 2 months ago. I'm going to put a link to that video right here. Why are all the Californians leaving? You can watch that video. We talk about the 4 or 5 top places they're going. Because it is a bit crazy, the people leaving. It's unprecedented. That's a terrible word. It's overused. But it's unprecedented. And I believe, personally, that it's not a bubble. And it's government caused, local and federal. It's causing 2 things. People to leave high tax areas, California, and people to shift assets away from stocks that readily have to pay capital gains. If you do a trade, you pay capital gain. You can't 1031 a stock. If you sell some stock and buy another one, you pay the capital gains tax immediately, right? Real estate, you don't do that. 1031 exchange, we're going to talk about that in another video.
Absolutely.
About why that's happening.
And then remember, particularly Las Vegas, it's very close to California it's very close to San Diego, Los Angeles, the whole SoCal area. And so if you've got family, you've got friends, if you've got roots there, moving to Las Vegas is not such a stretch.
We're a suburb.
Right.
We're like California light.
Exactly.
No taxes.
So people are looking at that too, and they're saying, hey, I like California. I don't want to move away from my family, but I'm doing this to improve my situation, but I'm not that far away. And remember, we're Vegas. Everybody wants to come visit us, so that's why even single people are getting 3 and 4 bedroom homes, because they know that all of a sudden everybody will want to come visit them in Vegas.
So here's my thing. I think this is a new normal. I think this is a real thing. Could it be overbought a little bit? Maybe. I mean, I think if buyers and sellers weren't doing the things they were doing, prices wouldn't be going up as much. But here's the thing. If you live in this market and you think the market's overbought, give us a call.
That's right.
We'll sell your house. Because if it's inflated value, sell it. Go find a rental and wait 2 or 3 years for the market to tank. If that's what you think, we'll list it, sell it for you, get top dollar, hopefully, right?
Absolutely.
And you can sell it and live in a rental for a few years, and then when the market tanks, you can go buy back a house or 2. But honestly, I don't know anybody who's doing that. I don't know anyone who's said, I'll just sell my house and stay in it as a tenant. So
I've heard lots of people thinking of doing it, but actually putting their money where their mouth is, not so much.
Not so much. Okay, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. Please subscribe. If you're a real estate agent, you made it to the end of the video, go to tryreferralcloud.com, create a free account, and get more referrals in your marketplace.
And leave us your comments. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye.